if you're going to do a power poll on someone who had himself a week, Bradley Beal would have to be right up there, would he not? And with that in mind, Wolf, it's a rhetorical question. Don't even open your trap because we're going to hit the rewind button as Maloney has put together a little Bradley Beal montage of the week that was.
I received pretty significant news out of Phoenix. Sources relayed to me that Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic will be removed from the start lineup starting Monday at Philadelphia.
Step back three left corner, up and in for Bradley Beal, who's cooking here in the third quarter as he has 17, a game high.
Brad, what he was able to do tonight really put us kind of in a great spot.
If so, I need to be addressed because I hold the cards. So until I'm addressed and somebody says something differently, then I'm going to be a son.
Let me put those rumors about Beal to rest. They absolutely are trying to trade Bradley Beal. There were schematic reasons why they did it. Mike Budenholzer tried to explain, but they're basically trying to make him feel unwelcome in Phoenix so that he will waive that no-trade clause.
I don't see a trade that swaps out Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler pushing Phoenix into that upper level of the Western Conference.
Sounds like no. His agent, Mark Bartelstein, told me there's been no discussions either with the Suns or any other team about Bradley Beal waiving his no-trade clause.
The caveat to this thing is, man, Bradley Beal, unless he agrees to the trade, there's nothing the Suns can do. Nope, not a damn thing about it. They should have been bringing Bradley Beal off the bench a couple years ago. Now they're doing it to be petty. And if I'm Bradley Beal, you know what I'm going to do, Dan? I'm going to be petty back at him.
Field, cross-court dribble again. Lays it up with the left hand and in. Oh, Bradley Beal navigated from the half-court line all the way to the bucket, and he laid it in with about a tenth of a second left. Nicely done there by Bradley Beal.
I think it's been more of a distraction than anything. I wouldn't say bothersome. I mean, people are going to make their noise and have their opinion about certain things, you know, and I'm big in faith.
There it is right there. Bradley Beal in the situation that Bradley Beal and the Phoenix Suns are in right now. Paulie, I'm asking this. This is no bed right here, Paul. I mean this from the bottom of my bones right now. What is your take on the Bradley Beal situation? I have not talked to you about this.
Well, let's see. He responded with a pair of 25-point games.
Yeah.
3 games since. He had the Beal steal in the final minute, and that was money. Great call by Tim Ring there on the mic.
He had 3 steals on the game.
So, okay, maybe, just maybe, this is the best configuration for the Suns, although I think it goes way beyond just playing time and the starting lineup. There's obviously more work here per the Brian Windhorst and the back and forth and making them feel uncomfortable. And you have to go down swinging, Wolf. Mm-hmm. If you're the Suns decision makers, you have to do anything and everything that's under your power to see if you can get a deal done for Bradley Beal. Remember this time a year ago, we were talking Bradley Beal as a point guard and whether it was viable or not, and the whole hashtag, let Beal deal. Yeah. Well, now it's deal Beal. That's the hashtag. And can you get it done by the trade deadline? And whatever it takes. Maybe, just maybe, they tried to made this move to get a better performance out of him. Forget about Brian Windhorst making him feel uncomfortable, unwanted. Yeah. The only way to motivate in professional athletics, job security. And since he has a guaranteed deal, what can you threaten? What can you jeopardize? See Yusuf Nurkic, playing time, status. Take him out of the starting lineup. You heard him. That struck a nerve. I'm a starter in this league. Yeah. I'm a star in this league. I deserve to be a starter. So if that's what it takes to get a pair of 25-point games out of him, to get defense out of him, maybe showcase him to other teams, if there's a team that would take on a contract that still calls for $110 million the next 2 years to be paid out, that's in the Suns' best interest.
Based on where you're going with that, Paulie, right now, him just playing better, would I like to see Bradley Beal play better, the Suns play better, and they keep him? Would I like to see that? Yeah, I would. There's no doubt about it. But you have to ask yourself, is that going to happen? Do I think Bradley Beal is the problem? No, I don't think Brad is the problem. I think the problem is a lack of leadership and toughness inside the locker room. That is the problem to me.
Here's Bradley Beal after the game. Remember, this happened when the Suns were on the road. So that helped minimize maybe some of the media coverage, some of the media blowback. Don't think that wasn't by design. So here's Bradley Beal after the game when asked about his reaction to when he was first told he's coming off the bench.
What was your reaction when you guys had that conversation?
I literally looked at coach and said, okay. I'm not going to argue. You made your decision. So it's up to coach.
Yeah, this one it's a little rough for me right now. I don't know. I guess when you have started every game since March of 2016, you probably get hurt a little bit when you're asked to go to the bench. Yeah. I think I understand that. But it really isn't who starts the game. It's who finishes the game. And when you think about it, this happened last night. Just go ahead and look at who was on the floor for the Phoenix Suns last night. The big three were there on the floor when it was nut-cutting time in the fourth quarter.
You know who wasn't there? A point guard. You have two capable, qualified point guards, and they're on the bench after you go up 120-105, and then watch Atlanta go on a 10-0 run. And if Trae Young wouldn't have jacked up that three from 30 feet with under a minute to go, wherever it was, that could have been a 2-point game at that moment while your point guards are on the bench and you're kicking the ball around out of bounds.
Yes. Again, listen, I'm talking about Brad, Paul.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about the point guard.
Okay, I take that
right
back.
now, even though I know they're asking him to do some of that point guard stuff. I hope Brad accepts this role and tears it up. And then maybe the Suns will win games and get better. That ultimately, is that not the best solution for the Phoenix Suns right now? That somehow, some way, they do gel. This is a slap in the face. It wakes everybody up, and suddenly they start playing better. But I think it's bigger than that. And I hope I'm wrong on that. But I think it's a lack of leadership and toughness inside that locker room.
Here's Devin Booker after the game, and he was asked about Bradley Beal and his new role off the bench.
He understands his spots, with that lineup, and understands, it's his job to be aggressive. And, it can be, a little frustrating when we're all out there. And, I go through it sometimes too when, you take 2 shots in a row and you're like, man, I'm out here with KD and Brad. Like, I need to get them involved. So just not even having that on your conscience and just getting to play free, can do a lot for anybody.
Ding, 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 ding. Right there, you stop and think about that. Book, so much of the time, appears to be looking to get everyone else involved and questioning some of his own shot selection. That's what it kind of looks like when you watch him play. And that kind of indecision, it's got to create indecision, right, Paul? It does. When you're thinking about, hey, listen, I missed a couple of shots. I might want to go ahead and try to set up KD or Brad. It makes perfect sense to me.
Unless you're James Harden, right? I mean, if you're 0 for 8 from three-point range, yeah, you're thinking, man, there's some other superstars on the floor. Maybe I should get them involved. Unless you're just James Harden, and it's only and always about your game.
That's why it's important that this has got to be Book's team. It has to be Devin Booker's team going forward. And when I say that, Basinonians, I'm not talking about he's the end-all, be. I'm just talking about him being a leader. Because guess what? KD's not going to do it. He isn't. Brad is not going to do it. Book needs to do it. He needs to be the lead. He's one of the best players in the basketball universe, and he needs to lead this team because he's got the capability of doing it. But I think he defers to Kevin Durant.
You think it's a case where all the superstars are looking at each other to lead? Instead of one guy just taking the mantle, taking the reins, and getting it done, everyone's looking at each other. Because what we've heard has been a lot of talk. Even last year going into the playoffs, I'm looking at this Kevin Durant quote where he said, you know what, in the playoffs, the technical part of the game matters less than the desire to win. So there's always been a lot of talk about playing hard, playing with intensity, bringing more energy than the other team. We hear it. We rarely see it.
Yes.
Why is that?
Exactly, because maybe they need to talk about it more, like eye to eye. Once again, have it out. Talk about it. Leadership is not about, we're going to hit them high. Hey, listen, guys, we're going to go out there, we're going to fight, and we're going to... That's not what it is. Leadership is about holding others accountable, starting with yourself first.
So, yes or no? Because we don't have time for a Wolfley soliloquy right now to the Basinonians. Yes or no, would Jimmy Butler check all those boxes and fix everything you just cited?
I don't want to say he's going to fix everything, Paulie. I'm just going to say that right now, if you are going to blow this up, yeah, he fixes a lot of it.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.